Yo, what up, street gods? Eric Kim. All right, some more turbo hype thoughts for you. Hype. All right, so this one is just follow your gut. Actually, it's funny because I was contemplating on getting a new PR on my rack pull today. I was contemplating trying, was it 6 plates and 25? I'm like, yeah, let's do it, right? And then I pulled 5 plates, and I felt like my grip was like a little bit weaker than it was when I pulled 6 plates. So I'm like, okay, that's a surefire sign that, like, you know, I need to give my body some more time to hypertrophy itself before attempting it again. And the nice thing is that, like, you know, the phrase in Vietnamese "đi chơi," which is like, you know, do something just for funsies. And I think it's a good method and strategy to life, because I think in life people kind of like take things too seriously and they put too much pressure on themselves. I'm like, bro, it doesn't matter, right? It's like nobody cares how much you could lift. It's just you do it yourself for funsies as a form of like self-confidence strengthening, and etc. And ooh, look at the birds. And actually, this is just like a random thought, right? So maybe actually it's grip strength, which is best indicative of your strength. So maybe this is another +1 for not using straps or figure 8 straps. Like even Hafthor, when he deadlifted 501 kilograms, he used the figure 8 straps, which kind of got me interested. And then, I mean, I don't aspire to deadlift 501 kilograms, so maybe I don't need to use the figure 8 straps. Rather just using chalk, mixed grip, switching it up, and just building my tenacity. The thing that's actually interesting is the word grip actually comes from the word tenacious, tenere, which means to hold. And so like if we think about it quite literally, right, maybe the best way to become more tenacious in life or business or whatever is actually to focus on building your grip strength. Yo, check out, this is what a Ricoh GR3X looks like without all the front elements. Hanadi threw it too many times and it became bare. But anyways, so just kind of knowing life is everything is just kind of experiments. It's having fun, figure out once you get there, and then when you ain't feeling it, just peace out. Like whenever I go to the gym, I don't have like a super strong thought in mind. I just try it out and do some stretching and say hi to the folks and shoot the shit, use the bathroom. Pro tip, right? Don't let anybody know. If you want to go number 2, it's best to go to the gym bathroom rather than stinking up and clogging your own toilet. Anyways, so yeah, just thinking forward in life, your life, etc. It's a good idea to just kind of like quote unquote go with the flow and just follow your gut. Like I think the problem about thinking after Plato is the mind, the intellect, rationality is the center of everything, and anything that is not super 100% rational has no credence or significance. Whereas in factuality, I don't know if that's a real word, factuality, I think it's the body, because the body is actually the real thing that exists. The mind is itself, it's kind of a fiction insofar much as the mind is simply an offshoot of what your body is thinking. So I'll give you examples. So the question is, can a mind exist without a body, comma, or can a body exist without a mind, question mark. And if you have friends or family, or you know, it's really sad when people get Alzheimer's or dementia, whatever, people's bodies could still continue to exist, but they've lost their mind, right? However, once you got no more body, can you have a mind? No. And I think it's this insidious thought, which is, you know, mostly a religious thought, comes from the ancient Egyptians, is that the immortal soul, mind, etc. And actually the funny thing too is the reason why a lot of these philosophers and thinkers are so inaccurate. Like for example, Peter Thiel, who I highly admire. Hilariously enough, he kind of wants to become immortal, yet he's a Christian. So anybody who's been raised Christian, Catholic, Protestant, Judeo-Christian, whatever, Jewish, etc., even like people who are not really, like, people like to think of this idea of like an immortal soul, like after you're dead, you know, your afterlife, right? But what if there is no afterlife, right? So if there's no afterlife, then a lot of people fall into what they call existential dread. It's the dread of existing or being alive. It's like, what's the point of living if I'm gonna die and I'm not gonna live forever in nirvana afterwards? I would say actually maybe the best goal then while you're still alive is to just kind of have fun and also strive to innovate philosophical, critical thoughts that will help empower your other fellow humans. So another joy is just like having kids. Like Seneca is what, 1 year 9 months. Dude, it's like, everyone always talks about how hard it is having a kid and how, you know, people don't want to have kids no more. It's like the world's funnest thing. Like, it's like a quadrillion times more fun than anything I've experienced, because it's like training a mini you, right? Also another, you know, kind of a sexist thought I had was, you know, and you know, I just talking with other guys who ain't so quote-unquote woke, it seems that all men desire to have at least one son. And so something I always find hilarious is whenever you see a family with like 2 or 3 girls, it's usually a sign, yeah, they're trying to have a boy and they just kind of gave up at a certain point. Or sometimes you see this too, a family with 4 girls, or if you watch the I Love Lucy episode, what, the dude with 5 girls, and there's like, oh, it's a boy, there's like triplet girls, right? Anyways, society is super sexist because, you know, the bias is everyone wants to have, the bias is everyone have a boy. But the question is, once you, let's say you already have your first kid and it's a boy, then what? Then it depends, right? Like, I mean, currently, as I'm speaking, you know, me and Cindy only got 1 kid. What the future holds, but it does seem that the sad thing is kind of a Confucianism thing, is that like, you think about when China had the one-child policy, super sad, right? Like all the abortions for the baby girls because everyone wanted to have a son, and thus there was a huge shortage of girls in China, and I think they changed the policy since then. Or other countries like Vietnam, I think, where I think the policy is you could only have 2 kids unless you finagle some other system. I'm not 100% sure, but essentially you know, and you know, I can't speak for everybody, but if you're a guy, yeah, like yeah, once again, I can't speak about this because I don't have a girl. And actually, before Sen was born, we actually decided to choose to not know the sex. We didn't actually know he was gonna be a boy or girl. And actually, before he was born, we actually thought it was gonna be a girl because the midwife was like, oh, she's looking so good, and we're like, she? And she's like, I didn't say she, you said she. She got all defensive, right? And so when he came out, you know, I was actually quite shocked. It's like, Dad, is it a boy or girl? I'm like, it's a penis, it's a boy, I'm a boy. And I got super excited, right? And this is kind of honest thought. Like, I'm sure if I had a girl, I'd love her as much as I love Seneca. But I guess the difference is for example, you know, raising him, you know, because I'm a guy and he's a guy, I kind of treat him like a mini me. It's almost like if I clone myself, how would I ideally raise myself to become a more, you know, epic version of myself? So my goal is for him to deadlift 900 pounds in his lifetime and squat at least 8 plates. But anyways, some other random thoughts too. Met a guy at the gym who, you know, had a severe ACL injury. He was doing some physical therapy. And I was like, what do you get from football? He goes, a football wide receiver. I'm like, maybe don't put Seneca in football. Even organized sports, I think, are bad because, you know, just read the Calvin and Hobbes comic strip series on the sports one where he joins the baseball team, and then much more fun for Calvin and Hobbes to play Calvin ball instead, right? So the problem with all these certain rules, regulations, it kind of standardizes kids in this Procrustean bed, which is, you know, lacks freedom. So like, think about all these, you know, sports stars, like even like LeBron James or, you know, Michael Jordan. Their value is only, you know, playing basketball, but once they're done with basketball, you know, certainly they're famous, but they've lost their prime activity, which probably brings them the most joy. Like, man, I cannot say for certain, but I could probably think Michael Jordan was probably happiest while he was still actively playing basketball. And now he's rich and retired, and it doesn't matter, he's a billionaire, whatever, right? Like, watch the documentary on him, right? Like, he looks like a sad alcoholic. It's actually super duper sad. I wouldn't want to be him. So yeah, so some practical thoughts is yeah, moving forward in your life, you know, a simple way to live your life is just don't do nothing you don't want to do. Only do that which you're interested in, and the second that becomes not so interesting or boring, just peace out.